So I hired the RF 16mm from Hire a Camera. So if you don't know about them, check them out. It was a really good experience. It was just a case of I'd used them before and they had the availability, and yeah, it was a good, clean, quick experience. I actually own the Tokina. It's the Tokina 2.8. I don't know if it will actually focus on this. This lens, I adore this lens. It's fantastic. I really do like it. It's got a look to it, a bit like my love of the 80 to 200, which I have here. It has quite a distinct look. I find it, I've done a whole video about this, so again, if you want to see why I like it, you can check it out. Although this proved to be a bit of a challenge on the day, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Indeed, I went to Recce Matiko Studios a little bit earlier in the week. I think it might have been the week before, and I did a few shots because I just wanted to get some of the hall empty, but I had gone with Grace to do a recce and I thought, fantastic, I'll just get a few extra shots. However, it was quite shocking. It was the first time using this lens and I was at around, say, 12, because this is an 11 to 16. And there was nothing but wobble. It was unusable. It was atrocious. I came back, I was shocked. I thought there was something wrong with the camera. Obviously I was aware of it, but I hadn't seen it so badly done, because I would either be, either on a gimbal when I'd used it before, or in a situation where it wasn't, walking around, but just kind of walking and lightly, gauging the room with it. It was just unusable. And then I was shocked and I thought, oh my goodness, there is something wrong with this camera or this lens working with it. Came back, did hours of testing at home, still seeing it, and eventually I figured out that the wobble on the camera could, unless it was at 16mm, literally it couldn't use, because it was just kind of shaking and wobbling and would just be all over the place. That was a good thing that came out of the initial recce. Thankfully at Matiko they allowed me to come in for roughly an hour just to do some quick test shots with this, and when I did it at 16 all was fine. I did do it on a gimbal, it wasn't handheld at that point, and you'll see some of the shots from that littered throughout. Now, I wanted to use some of this and some of the RF 16, both at, at 16mm, to be able to do an A and B video for you guys. But on the day, the weight of this lens, plus again the gimbal and the speed at which we were working, guess which lens didn't make it onto the camera at all. So yeah, it was a funny one, because I guess it's, in some ways, it is a comparison that totally one lens totally won, because of the weight, despite the the love of the lens and the kind of look, in actual fact this kind of failed, because the timing, everything just kind of went against it. The lenses that were sharper and clearer and cleaner meant that pairing them up proved less of a challenge. Now, I still use this on some of the shots at the beginning of the Ashes video, and I love them, and they were gorgeous shots. I think in the long run, the weight and the time for this particular occasion, the RF 16 definitely was a winner, and I think it may end up in my camera kit at some point. One of the things that I had been curious about on this shoot was using a black, I was going to say black Promise, but it's not. This one's called a black diffusion KNF concept. Found them to be useful. However, I don't know if anyone has seen, I recently did a Mikey drop-in filter mount, which I'm using right now on the Canon R6, actually shooting on 50mm 1.2, which is a new addition, and if I'd had that lens on this shoot, I definitely would have used it. It came down to the fact that because I was using 3 different camera systems with multiple lenses, in order to 2 different gimbals, in order to make sure that I was getting the same kind of black diffusion on each of the lenses, whether it's I'm using an 1/8 here or 1/4 or whatever it was. It just seemed to be a case that it would have just thrown one more thing into the equation on the day. On the recce where I went into the Matico studios and was using the Tokina, I did shoot some on diffusion. I really did like how it made the studio look, but in the end I chose not to do that just because we had so many variables, and to throw one more into the mix just seemed a little bit too much.